The Winery at Bull Run was the 203rd winery to open up in Virginia the last 30 years. As new wineries open up, they have to have a better sense of who they are and where they're going. And I think this place is really going to do well. It's exciting because it's creating something a little bit different. It's association with the battlefield and historic value. It's creating yet another facet of interest, I think, in the Virginia wine industry.
The owner of this winery here at Bull Run is John Hickox. And John Hickox has honor for this particular piece of land. So John, a great businessman, had the good sense to get people who were at the top of their interest area, and they actually are making it happen.
This has been an enjoyable project, just because it's different. There's not a lot of buildings that combine the same things in a structure that we have combined here. We mixed the old reclaimed wood with the new construction. So it's been challenging, and it's been fun to build.
I'm providing a rural setting and escape real close into DC. At the same time, I'm educating people, telling them about the history of this area, the history of wine, the story of Virginia wine versus what people think is California wine or French wine. The story of wine in the United States starts here in Virginia, and hardly anybody really realizes that.
The Winery at Bull Run, as a historic venue, wants to represent what winemaking would have been like in the late 1800s. In the 1800s, Norton grape was a significant grape variety. It also grows in that type of topography. Norton is classic for the area, classic for the time period, and for Bull Run Winery, I think it makes perfect sense. And our goal was to make wine without electricity. As much as we can replicate what would have been done over 100 years ago at this winery is really what we're trying to encapsulate and present as part of the National Battlefield experience.
The old farmhouse was called Hillwood, and that's the stone mansion. An old barn sat right here at this location. So the idea was we could build a modern winery within an older looking barn. So we built this barn from scratch, but mimicked the architecture, especially from the exterior, of what a 19th century barn would look like.
We've gone to great detail. I mean, we're using the old cut nails to nail the siding on the walls, the wrapping of the beams with hand-hewn materials. The attention to detail has been very specifically looked at, decided what we wanted to use, what not to use. And so what we've done is created a new structure that has an antique look.
It's going to create a great customer learning experience, and something that I think as wineries encroach into urban environments, something that'll be well embraced.
This Battle of Bull Run being the first battle of the Civil War, our country was so naive to think that it was going to be a real short-lived event. So people came out in the droves, civilians came out in the thousands and watched the battle unfold as picnickers. And they sat up on this ridge with umbrellas and horses and buggies and watched the battle unfold. Chaos ensued. So you had civilians being overrun by Confederate cavalry. So the story of the Battle of Bull Run is not just another strategic battle, it's the story of going into war and not truly grasping what our country was in for. This is where it all began.